Hello. Stable roommates algorithm is an algorithm used for making a matching between users in any system based on their preferences. This algorithm was created and invented by Robert Irving in 1985. He won Nobel Prize in Economics due to his efforts to create this algorithm. This algorithm solves many problems that will occur between roommates. So let's discuss the idea of a stable roommates algorithm. The stable roommates algorithm has three phases. The first phase called proposing and filtering. Suppose we have A, B, C, and D are our users in the system. Suppose A, we ask from every user to make his own preference list based on the most preferred one to the least preferred one. So suppose A choose C, B, and D, where C represents the most preferred one to A and D the least preferred one to A. So on B choose A, C, and D, C choose D, B, and A, D choose B, A, and C. In phase 1, every user make proposal to the most preferred one in his own preference list, and he hold the proposal and wait. So A make proposal to C and C hold the proposal from A. B make proposal to A and then A hold the proposal from B and wait. C make proposal to D and D hold the proposal from C. D make proposal to B and B hold the proposal from B. When or in this step, we see that every user make proposal and have proposal from another. So go to the next phase called removing all or nothing cycles. In this step, we reject symmetrically the user in every preference list behind the proposals. So we check every user. Check user A in his own preference list. We can reject D. When we reject symmetrically. So we can reject user D from A and A reject from D. User B, the least preferred one, holds the proposal, so we can reject. So go to the next phase called output solution. In this step, we found the solution by creating matrix called Q and B, where Q represents the last preference and B represent the second preference. We choose in user have more than two choice, so we can choose A as our player. So in preference list of user A, the second preference is B. In B preference list, the last preferred one is D. D in preference list, the second preference called C, and C the last preference one is A. When our player appears again, we stop and reject symmetrically. We can reject A and C. So go to preference list of A and remove C. When we remove or reject, we reject symmetrically. So removed A from C. We reject D and B. So go to the preference list of D and remove B, and go to the preference list of B and remove D. We repeat this matrix until every user have one choice. So create Q and B matrix. We choose any user have more than two choice, so we can choose B as our player. The second preference in the preference list of B is C. C, the last preference one in his own preference list is B. When B appears again, we stop and reject symmetrically B and C. So go to the preference list of B and reject C, and reject B from the preference list of C. We must found that A choose B. We must found that B choose A. So on C choose D and D choose C. So stable roommates algorithm is an efficient algorithm to solve the matching between users. Next example, suppose we have A, B, C, and D, E, F are our players. So A choose or make his preference list. So A choose B, then D, F, C, and E, where B represent the most preferred one and E the least preferred one. So on others, he choose the preference list. In the phase one called proposing and filtering, every user make proposal to another, make proposal to the most preferred one in his own preference list. So A make proposal to A and B hold proposal from A and wait. If B make proposal to D and D hold proposal from B. C make proposal to D and D hold proposal from C. So this problem, D have two proposal from C and proposal from B. So we accept proposal from C and reject B because it's the least preferred. So when we reject symmetrically. So we can reject B from D and D from B. So on, repeat this proposal. So B proposed to the next preferred one is E, and E hold the proposal from B. C is already make proposal, so go to D. D make proposal to F, and F hold the proposal from D. E make proposal to F, and F hold the proposal from E and wait. User F have two proposal, D and F, and E. So we can reject E because it's the least preferred one and accept D. So reject symmetrically E from F and F from E. So E go to the next preferred one, make proposal to user C. So C accept hold the proposal from E and wait. Go to user F, make proposal to A, and A hold the proposal from F. In this step, we can find that every user make proposal and hold the proposal from other. So go to the next phase called removing all or nothing cycles. In this step, we reject symmetrically the users behind the proposals. So check every user. Check user A. We can reject symmetrically C from A and A from C. So on, reject symmetrically E from A and reject A from E. So let's do that. Reject E from user A and user E reject A. Reject C from user A and C reject A. In user B, reject behind the proposal called less desirable partners, so we can reject symmetrically C from B and B from C. Check user C, we can find user F is behind the proposal, so can we reject symmetrically F from C and C from F. Check user D, we found that A and E we can reject symmetrically. user E is okay, user F is okay. So we can go to the next phase called output solution, making matrix Q and B. Choose any user have more than two choice. Suppose L A is the second preference in A preference list. The second preference called F. In F, the last preference is D. In D, the second preference is C. In C, the last preference is E. In E, the second preference is B. In B, the last preference is A. When our player appears again, we stop and reject symmetrically A and B. Go to user A and reject B. So on B reject A. Reject symmetrically E and C. Reject symmetrically D and F. Go to the user D and reject F, and from F reject D. We can repeat this matrix until every user have one choice. So we can choose user B. User B, the second preference list is F. In F, the last preference is B. When B appears again, we reject symmetrically B and F. So we can go to the preference list of F of B and reject F, and F reject symmetrically B. We found that if A choose F, we must found that F choose A. This is the correct answer. We transform this game by Python code to solve this matching. So we can in this example contains A, B, C, and D. We represent it in Excel sheet. Where A, B, and C appears. A choose C, B, and D. B choose A, C, and D, and so on. Our Python code contains 450 lines. So when we make run, we found that A choose B and C choose D. We found that in our algorithm that A choose B. So this was the idea of stable roommates algorithm. Thank you.